I should think they should. I'm sorry, like, we have so much here. And quite frankly, I think I need to be the spokesperson for this area because when I travel around, I'm just about how it is. And it's so funny. I got this whole family wanting to come and do spring break here. I got another guy who wanted to move here. I'm like, no, really, guys. Like, it's perfect. And like for retirement age, oh my goodness. Because you have all the joys and adventure without any of the responsibility, right? Like weather-wise, compare it to someplace like Phoenix or Florida.
It's too hot.
Whereas here, it's just kind of nice all the time. So you can still enjoy the snow, but none of the responsibilities. Like,
I had a couple.
I'm a walking pamphlet.
I had a couple moved here from Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And they were able to sell their house in Colorado Springs, pay off their mortgage, and they moved to Farmington, which is their own problem. But I mean, which is fine. But they were able to buy a house in Farmington, pay cash for it, re-landscape, and still have money.
It talks about
Some senior citizens are enjoying it. They only have $400,000, which is kind of the average.
that's like silly.
Yeah.
$200,000 here will get you a nice 3-bedroom back home. You got all that money in the bank. And 35 minutes to get to the
If you do the landscaping,
was going to make it,
and
but
it
it just
looks
didn't
here,
work.
you don't even have to worry about the yard.
You've seen my yard.
No, I haven't.
I have a little bit of green, and the rest of it's native. And
Grass is the stupidest thing in the entire world.
I have a little tiny lawn because my laundry kept falling off the line. But and I don't use the dryer. So you can hang your clothes out here 300 days a year. And then it's like, put it in the dryer. So,
raised garden.
I could sell it quick. That's cool. We can be salespeople.
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
He's not going to be here today. I wonder if...
I don't know. I've been watching.
So, anyway, we were gonna. Did you put that wolf girdle order in on my sticker? Look, and I said, what's
Missing something. Come on. Is that what you said?
No, it's fine. I just made me think of.
I know. I haven't been back.
Guess I could move this out of the way. I don't forget it. This is here, I'll do it right here. Then I know I won't forget it.
It is?
Well, maybe.
Different mirror.
Okay, cool. Was that all she said?
It's good you're asking for. I can give you some
Yeah,
answers.
which I thought was, that's all there
Wouldn't
was.
sell with all that.
I saw that part, but. And then, this was just. Jim said he's gonna get on the edge corner. It's too late now, so.
Good. It's changing. You guys good? I'm good. Steve?
Yes.
Ready? Sure.
Yes.
Okay. And you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you.
All right, good evening, folks. It is 6 p.m. We're going to go ahead and call to order the May 28th, 2019 City Commission meeting in the City of Aztec. We've got a few presentations and some guests tonight. So Chief Hill has been gracious enough to agree to do our invocation, and Mr. Cadell from San Juan County Gold Star Families is going to lead us in our pledges. Did I get that right? All right, great. Thank you, folks.
Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful for this wonderful day, Father. We're thankful for the many blessings that have come our way. We ask a special blessing at this time of year as we just went through Memorial Day, and we bless those families who have lost those in war. And we bless those that took the time and effort and ability to serve this country, to provide the freedoms that we enjoy here. And we ask a blessing on the commission as they go throughout this evening, that they will be blessed to make the decisions for the citizens of Aztec that would be best for all. We're grateful for the blessings that we have received, and we say this humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the symbol of perfect friendship among united nations.
Okay, thank you again. Carla, would you please call the roll? Here.
Here.
Commissioner Sykes?
Here.
Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
Commissioner Randall is absent.
Right. Okay. Next up is agenda approval. If there are any items that do not meet the approval for being heard on this evening's agenda, now is the time to remove those items. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve this evening's agenda as given.
Mr. Mayor,
Ma'am?
I'd like to move to approve tonight's agenda as given.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up is consent agenda. Excuse me. Items placed on the consent agenda will be voted upon with one motion. If any item proposed does not meet the approval of all commissioners, a commissioner may request that the item be heard under items from consent agenda. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as given.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir?
I make a motion that we approve tonight's consent agenda as given.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next item is proclamation for LGBTQ Pride Month, June 2019. I've got it right here. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. I'm proud to, for the second year, to be able to read this proclamation on behalf of the city of Aztec. So, without further ado, it's a proclamation by the city of Aztec declaring the month of June 2019 LGBTQ month in Aztec, New Mexico. Whereas many of the residents, students, city employees, and business owners within the city of Aztec who contribute to the enrichment of our city are a part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning community. And whereas LGBTQ youth make up a disproportionate number of the American youth who are homeless or who commit suicide, and whereas various advancements have been made with respect to equitable treatment of lesbians, gay men, bisexual, transgender, and questioning persons throughout the nation, out there continues to be some opposition against people from around the world, making it important for cities like Aztec to stand up and show support for our residents who are affected. And whereas June has become a symbolic month in which lesbians, gay men, bisexual people, transgender, and supporters come together in various celebrations of pride, whereas the city of Aztec, part of San Juan County, where the Civility First program was created to promote positive relations and mutual goodwill while extending a welcoming hand to all who live in or visit the Four Corners region. Now therefore we, the Aztec City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of June as LGBTQ Pride Month in the city of Aztec and invite everyone to reflect on ways we all can live and work together with a commitment to mutual respect and understanding. Signed, yours truly, Mayor. And I apologize, MP, I was supposed to have you come up first, so I told MP she could have just a minute or so to kind of speak to this proclamation in Pride Month, so please, if you don't mind, thank you. Sorry for messing that up.
You are forgiven.
Thank you.
Mayor Snover, commissioners, and staff. I'm MP Schildmeyer, and this is Donald Stage. We are the co-chairs of the Farmington, New Mexico LGBTQ Pride, Inc., and we put on the annual Pride Parade in the city of Farmington. This will mark our 4th annual parade on June 15th. As the mayor stated, tonight marks the 2nd annual LGBT Pride proclamation issued to our community by the city of Aztec. We offer our heartfelt thanks for this recognition. Being gay in San Juan County is not an easy path to walk. However, we are steadfast in our commitment to the pride we feel in our own existence. Those of you who are not gay or queer or any of the other letters with which we identify ourselves, imagine living every day of your life knowing that many of your neighbors, your employer, even your pastor despise you simply because of whom you love. Many of us live in fear of our very lives simply because our gender is different than the one we appear to you to have. The suicide rate of our teenagers is 6 times that of non-LGBT adolescents. But we persist, and we persist with pride and joy in our love, our courage, and our determination. And what is it we are determined to do? Nothing but to share our love with our neighbors, our employers, our pastors, and yes, with all of you. For as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, only love can conquer hate. Let's all of us work together for equality and love for our fellow human beings. Please join us, won't you?
Hey, guys.
Send him a text. Just send him a text.
All right, well, next, hey, I have a quick question. I have a letter to read for a military member. Can I just go ahead and do that now?
Yeah, that'd be on presentation, so early.
Okay.
Present.
So we have a couple of presentations, but I'm going to kind of jump line on this if you guys don't mind. So there's a thing that I stole this idea from an Army recruiter friend of mine. Some of you have heard this story, some of you haven't. I appreciate your patience with me. And this one is very special to me because it's one of my 4-year JROTC cadets that just graduated last week. I can't say enough good things about her. She came to me as a freshman that, and I don't want to overuse the scared of your own shadow kind of phrase, but she really was one of those kids. Very shy, very quiet, extremely introverted, of sorts. And not that she's out, high-fiving everybody and doing all that stuff now, but the growth that this young woman has undergone since I first met her a little over 4 years ago has been just monumental. And she's kind of capped it off by enlisting in the New Mexico Army National Guard last week. So I am over the moon proud of her. It's one of the things that keeps, at least from my perspective, keeps me coming back to the classroom every year, every day, feeling like, there's that kid out there somewhere that you're going to make a difference with them. And I'm proud to hopefully have made a little difference with her, because I know she's made a huge difference for me in my, in my time back here in Aztec High School. So without further ado, I'm going to read this for her real quick. And she is, true to form, sitting in the very back of the room. I knew that would get everybody, yeah. So May 28, 2019, Future soldier Brandy Benavidez, let me first take a moment to congratulate you on your decision to enlist into and become a part of the finest military in the world. You have made the decision to put action to words and proudly step forward to defend our nation and the freedoms that are the foundation of the United States of America. It is through the sacrifice, dedication, and bravery of men and women like yourself that our nation continues to be the shining beacon of freedom and opportunity that is still the envy of the world. You are now a member of a select club of less than 1% of Americans that heed the call of military service, and as a fellow veteran and your city's mayor, and I'll add your JROTC instructor, I salute you and give a heartfelt and hearty hua as you head out to start your career in the New Mexico Army National Guard. Your city commissioners thank you, your loved ones thank you, and your nation thanks you. And I certainly thank you. So come on up, Randy.
Yes.
So, yeah, that'd be great. She ships in October, right? She's going to be one of the finest Army cooks on the planet. So we won't have to maybe eat MREs. You can come and chef up some food for us. So yeah, I'm so proud of her. And she works with me at Aztec Ruins. And I could take another 20 minutes talking about her. You know, she's scared of her own shadow, and now she's working at Aztec Ruins with us with New Mexico Youth Conservation Corps. She's one of our crew leaders. I mean, so she's just really blossomed as a leader, as a young woman, and as a young adult, and now soldier. So I'm very proud. So. Okay, now the official presentations. Okay, thanks for indulging me, folks. I appreciate it. It's not every day you get to do something like that for one of your students. Under presentations, first one is San Juan Regional Medical Center Corporate Board Meeting with Mr. Collins.
And Dr. Bartman.
Okay, and Dr. Bartman. Thank you.
Like,
Good
Dr.
evening,
Bartman,
gentlemen.
you've been doing this, what, 20-some odd years?
I need to apologize to you all. I've been a member of the San Juan Hospital Corporation for 30 years as the representative from the city of Aztec, and I have never presented anything to the city of Aztec. So,
Glad you're here.
at least this
So
will be
welcome.
the first time.
Yeah.
In any event, if it's okay, if you will, I'll try to explain. You may already know the structure and the makeup of how San Juan Regional Medical Center ties to San Juan County. But if you will, give me 30 seconds to explain how that makeup is.
Awesome.
First thing, San Juan County owns the land and the property of San Juan Regional Medical Center. But that's where the uniqueness comes in. The remainder of San Juan Regional's makeup is one of its management is overseen by the San Juan Regional Corporation, which has nothing to do with San Juan County. It's made up of any member of a not-for-profit organization who wishes to become a voting member of San Juan Regional Corporation can become one simply by applying. City of Aztec is just that. Roger and I are now going to be your representatives. Thanks to Steve and his, I guess we raised our hand at the wrong time. In any event, you're a voting member of the San Juan Regional Corporation. You're allowed 2 voting members from the city. We could actually have 3 because I've been there so long, they actually give you a kind of a senior membership. So if the city wanted a 3rd voting member, they could do it. I'm wild guessing here, but I think there are around 200 voting members for the San Juan Regional Corporation. At any point in time, they may ebb and flow a bit. But they, usually that's the voting membership is made up of about that. So 3 members on a 200 or so voting group can have some impact. The basic job of the San Juan Regional Corporation is to, from that organization, is elected the board. And the board's job is to hire and fire the CEO. If you're a board member at San Juan Regional, you're going to spend a lot of time. I have never been a city or a San Juan Regional regular member. I've been the chief of staff of the hospital, however, and that's a voting member of the board. So I've spent my fair share in that seat, and that's a lot of work, but it's quite rewarding. So if the city were interested, we could actually have a third. And if you wanted to vote me out, and we could still have a third. So, and anyway, that's the makeup of the San Juan Regional Corporation. It basically is, we lease back, San Juan Regional Medical Center leases back from this county the land and property at whatever it is, 701 West Maple. So that's the makeup. Any questions on how that works? Now for the bad news. We have the corporation meets on a quarterly basis. Mr. Collins and I went the other night, and that was probably the most negative meeting I've ever been to. It was very well attended. My job, unfortunately, tonight I drew the short straw, and I get to tell you about the financials at San Juan Regional. There's some good news. The hospital will get $3.3 million in capital outlay project money for fiscal year 20. The bad news is that the actual net revenue loss for fiscal year 19, which I think is just now up, or very soon to be up, will be $29.9 million loss. It was projected to be a $9.7 million positive, so that's a swing of a lot of money. The projected net income for FY19 is a negative $20.5 million. Mr. Bourgeois, who's the CEO, good guy, very bright fellow, presented, I'm glad I wasn't him the other night. He presented his thoughts on where we go from here. San Juan Regional is up and running. It's not in deep trouble, but you can't lose $30 million and not have some impact. And his ideas were, well, how did we end up here? And basically, he came up with several different notions. There's been a significant decline in the supplemental payment programs from the state, about $20 million loss. That's offset by some increase in Medicaid payments, but in no way offsets $20 million. There's a shifting payer mix. We're aware of that, I'm sure, here in the city. We don't have so many people wanting to pay their taxes anymore. So there's been a huge change in the overall payer mix. Much more Medicaid, Medicare, and much less commercial insurance. The decreasing volumes because of our decline in population, I think that's been fairly obvious, and I'm sure the city's noticing that as well. He mentioned increasing costs. And then we have, if you haven't heard, San Juan Regional has a brand new, huge IT program that's just been put in place. We're about 4 months in. I think the takeoff date was January the 22nd. I'm experiencing that myself, and it is a huge nightmare. It has to be done. There's no argument that they had to do it. The old system was antiquated, couldn't be fixed anymore, wasn't being serviced. But the new system is a nightmarish problem. And what it's done is tried to consolidate all the various programs that they had at the hospital previously. I think it was something like 17 different software programs are being used at that one institution prior to the shift. Now there's one. The problem is the one is just a nightmare to deal with. So that's got to be one of the problems that are associated with this. Now, Mr. Bourgeois mentioned that he did not believe that that had anything to do with the negative. I personally think it does, but productivity is just off right now. You probably, if you've had any dealings with our community hospital, you've noticed that things are a lot slower, and you're backed up 12 deep trying to make appointments and get things done. So that is a fairly negative aspect of what's going on. I apologize for giving you negative comments the first time I ever speak before you. I'd be happy to entertain questions. The good news is Mr. Collins is going to give you some kind of bright side stuff.
Okay.
So any questions about that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We were going to also, if it's okay, we'd like to ask you all what your thoughts were in terms of presentation. Would you like us to periodically come to a city meeting, or would you rather have a written report? We can do pretty much anything you want to update you.
I largely like the live report
Yeah,
from the person.
presentation.
The corporation meets quarterly. It might be a little hard for us to get together quarterly, but
If
a
you could
couple
do
of
it
six or a year.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
semi-annually, anyway.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want
Or
to
at
speak
least
for
a year.
everybody.
At least yearly.
Yeah, at least annually, I would say,
Yeah,
but, you
we'd be
know.
happy to do
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mayor Snover.
How are you?
You got the ugly and the bad. I'll try to give you the good. I'd like to thank Mr. Steve Mueller for essentially appointing me to join Dr. Barkman in this endeavor, in this community representative, and connect with San Juan Regional. I didn't think it was a big deal. I figured I could add 4 more meetings to my schedule per year. What the heck? Reporting after every meeting, that would be another 4 more meetings, so I'm happy to agree with you, and once a month would be once a year would be wonderful. You know, it's great to sit alongside Dr. Barkman. It's an honor to sit alongside him and be the community representative, and to have some accountability and speak back to the commission and just let you know that connection with San Juan Regional. They're huge in our county, and I think we need to have a more active communication and representation with them, so that as they make decisions, we can provide them with the needs and the wants of our community here, because we have a competing hospital up north of us that is making their presence known as well. So, you know, Dr. Barkman has been part of this membership for several years. He didn't tell you how many, I don't think, 30 plus, I don't know. Never asked to provide the commissioners a report, but hey, we're here and we'll do it tonight. So it's a good thing to sit alongside him, but it was also good to be there because they did feed us, and the added bonus there, and the food was decent. The meeting started, and it included a few presentations. There was an introduction of all the board members. If you're interested in who the board members are for the hospital, feel free to look at their website. In addition, CEO Jeff Bourgeois reported out on the financial status, which Dr. Barkman alluded to. I will highlight on a couple of the presentations. The first presentation was on San Juan Regional's emergency preparedness by Dr. Greenberg, who is an attending physician and one of the medical directors there. Based on the presentation, San Juan Regional has implemented their preparedness protocols for several years and now have ongoing testing and training to address various emergencies that may occur in our area. The disasters that he outlined included a multiple car crash, a bus rollover, Ebola, virus disease, airplane crash, mass shooting, wildfire, flu pandemic, RSV epidemic. Other events that the hospital was prepared for include infrastructure failures, power, water, air, filtration, and security threats, explosives in the ER, armed threat on campus, prisoner-related shooting, and radiology. Dr. Greenberg emphasized the 4 core requirements. This includes emergency plan, policies and procedures, communication plan, testing, and training. San Juan Regional Medical Center has built an emergency preparedness program designed to ensure appropriate institutional and staff response to a wide variety of emergency situations. The primary emphasis is the continuity of clinical and business operations, flexibility to adapt to variable demands in clinical care, and the emergency preparedness program applies to all staff in all patient care and support areas. In order to maintain a high level of preparedness, San Juan Regional goes through training and education, drills and exercises, much like the city, I'm sure, functional drills and full-scale drills, because the school district also does a lot of this. It was also pointed out that the hospital has developed a HERT team. HERT stands for Hospital Emergency Response Team. This is comprised of multiple disciplines and specialties that can activate and respond to high-impact, low-frequency events. Such teams are often primarily hospital defense and preliminary medical care provider for patients arriving from an incident prior to entry into the emergency department. This HERT team is currently in the design and developmental phase, but should be available to operate within the next year. It's important to note that San Juan Regional Medical Center preparedness is in collaboration with public safety partners such as law enforcement, fire service, EMS, San Juan County Emergency Preparedness, New Mexico State Regional Health Care Coalition, New Mexico State Department of Health, and New Mexico National Guard. God forbid we have to see this in action, but it is good peace of mind knowing that they have a plan and a protocol and are prepared to put it into action. They do report on safety stories. These are basically successful stories that our medical practitioners, may not make the paper, but they're saving lives. I'm going to touch on one. One was the recovery of a 20-year-old who was having chest pain. There was no hesitation on the paramedics and firefighter who jumped into action. The patient suffered 4 different life-threatening arrhythmias in transport to the hospital. What occurred was a team accountability in the patient's positive outcome. The patient was resuscitated so quickly that he even stated that he did not know he was ever unconscious. At the ER, Dr. Weiss, who is an Aztec High School alumni, commented that the interventions performed by the EMS team saved the patient's life. The rest of the meeting announced new employees, including a chief information officer, a certified nurse, practitioner with internal medicine, an MD in internal medicine, a nurse, an anesthetist, and a PA in general surgery. Other staff hired on in the coming months: 2 family nurse practitioners, 5 MDs, 1 PhD, 1 DO, and 1 PA, which begs the question, with 30 million down, how are we going to support those salaries? The meeting was well attended, very informative, and a good point of connection for our community to continue to maintain. I, along with Dr. Barkman, will do our best to represent Aztec in a favorable light, and we want to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Mayor,
Yeah.
Could I
Yes,
just point out that Dr. Barkman and Roger Collins are both Aztec High School alumni also.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Sorry, I had to laugh at that one.
Mr. Mayor.
All right, next up we have American Legion Post number 9. My friend, Clint Dollar. I've talked with Clint over the years, well, over the last few years, because I work with him to get awards for our JROTC award ceremony, so I know him a little bit, but thank you for coming, Mr. Dollar.
We're proud to do that for the ROTC.
We're grateful to have you.
I don't know if y'all are aware, we are having our 100-year birthday party this year in the park, right behind this office. And if I may approach the bench, the time on this has been changed.
I like
so
Judge Judy.
there's a typo on the time. One short.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I can check.
We're okay. I think we're okay, yeah.
I have been working with Mr. Mueller here, and he has helped me quite a bit. He has helped the Legion quite a bit on this party in the park. Jeff with the parks is very, very helpful. The man's very nice. The thing that we're trying to do is trying to raise funds enough to where we can buy a building here in Aztec. If it does not come around, we might be forced to move somewhere else where the buildings are cheaper. We've had some quotes from Bloomfield. They have 3 buildings over there for $150,000. Everything we've looked at over here is anywhere from 300 on up around Aztec. And I didn't know that the buildings around here was worth that much, but, you know. Anyway, I'd like to thank the commission and Mr. Mayor for letting us do this. And we'd like to invite all of you, everybody in the audience, the same way. The chief was real good about it. When I said there was no alcohol, he signed it right now. So, you know, I mean, it was one of them things that we don't need alcohol in our community right now at this time. It's a party. We're going to invite the kids, have kids' games, a silent auction, which we have a little bit of everything for everybody. We've had Tim Cox, a painter from Bloomfield, has donated 2 pictures for us. I had to put the frames on them, but I got that done. And it's just, we need your support to keep going to where we're at. And we've been here in Aztec since August 5th, 1919. And we've had the misfortune of some illegal operations going on, and we lost everything. Then they give it to me to straighten it out. But things are going good, and you know, everybody, the city of Aztec, San Juan County, Farmington, Bloomfield, wherever y'all are from, you're all welcome to our party. There is a $5 cover charge. There will be a live band 3 times during the day, and a DJ. And the deal is we'll close at 8 o'clock. We'll go from 10 to 8. So that time that's on there is 10 to 8, not 6. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
but you are listed on here 10 to 8, and then
Yeah, the concert, I
family
think, is
concert
6 to
6
8.
to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I mean, it's all day. There's games for the kids. The fire departments are going to put up their little agility course. Aztec's going to have the smokehouse. You know, stuff for the kids to do at this time. And it's just going to be a fun event. There will be cake.
Sign me up.
I had to go find someone to make this a 100-year banner. And anyway, I found out that they have edible paper.
Oh,
It's quite delicious, really, you know. But it's what they do is they take an image of the screen, and then they'll put it on paper, and then put it on icing.
Right.
So it's not really paper, but you know.
I'm thinking that it might be your picture that appears on the tag. Is that?
Well, why not? Let me go change it. I found out that the Farmers Market and Smith's in Farmington do that same type of deal. And so you can get anything, if you know, if you want a picture of yourself, you can do that, and, you know, Farmers Market will take a picture of it, and they'll make the icing. So, you know, if anybody's aware of that.
We are now. We are now.
I used to eat paper in school, but it wasn't near what it tastes good. So at this time, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Mayor,
Thank you, sir.
council.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and hope to see y'all on June 15th.
Sounds
Would
good.
y'all like
Can
a
I ask
copy
him
of
a question?
the deal?
Can I ask
Of course.
Mr. Dollar,
Ma'am?
Clint, are you just renting that building that you're in now? Is that, or leasing it, or?
Well, the Lions Club has been real gracious.
Okay,
I go down there and chop weeds. I go down there and plow snow. They haven't charged us a dime to get in there, you know, and it's, there's only so long that you can board yourself on somebody else's dime. you know.
so you've moved from the, or maybe I'm American Legion, okay, never mind, I was thinking of the VFW, so,
Yeah.
okay. You're
Please
used to
don't get
that.
us confused.
Yeah,
They don't like us.
okay. So you're in the Lions Club building?
Right.
Awesome,
You know,
okay,
after we lost the racetrack, it's been uphill battle,
okay.
you know. And, there's one other thing I'd like to bring to the council. I have a problem with the road name out there right now, Legion Road. Is there any way that we can change that to something else?
The road to the racetrack?
Yep,
I don't know.
because we no longer own it.
I'm sure that's something we can discuss and look
We
into.
can, I mean, yeah, we can
Right.
discuss it and come up with an alternative.
Okay,
You know, I mean, we're still looking for a building, so, you know,
right,
Okay.
okay.
but if that's possible, we'd sure like to
Sure.
try that.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
your
Mayor,
time.
council.
Thank you.
And y'all, we'll see you at the
See you on
party.
the 15th. Okay, folks, thank you. Next up is Aztec Museum Annual Update with Natalie and Michelle. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, city staff, and guests. My name is Michelle Lindsay, and I, along with Natalie Toller, our director at the Aztec Museum in Pioneer Village, are going to present our annual report to you. And I forgot to do the slide, sorry. We opened for business May 1st, 2018. It's been a while since I've been here. 2018. Our regular season ran from November 1st, or May 1st through November 1st. We were open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We had a total visitation of $2,154. Thanks to the efforts of our board, our volunteers, and our staff, and thanks to the city of Aztec, we were able to retain our director and pay the extra overhead costs so that we could stay open for business year-round for the first time since 2005. We were open in our during the winter hours from November 1st through April 27th. We were open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We had a total of 521 visitors from November through April. That is not a high number, but it's rather large when you think of how many people really didn't realize that we were open this year. We've been closed since 2005 all winter long. And so 521, in my opinion, is pretty impressive. This is our visitation trend. It's trending up overall. You'll notice that in 2013 and 2015, they were low numbers, but many of us, most of us, recall the extreme flood damage that we had in our Pioneer Village in 2013 and 2015. In 2017, we had reduced visitation. Much of that was due to the construction of the flood management system now that is in Pioneer Village. So they the city of Aztec created a flood management system so that hopefully it won't wipe out our sidewalks and buildings anymore. So for the total of 2018 through 2019 season, we had a total of 2,675 visitors. It's an all-time high due to our extended hours and season. This past year, we saw a record number of school trips. Many of the school students participated in the Aztec Through Time workbook. This is a collaborative effort between the Aztec Ruins and the museum. We had schools from Las Cruces, Bayfield, Durango, as well as Aztec, Farmington, and Bloomfield visit the museum. Boys and Girls Clubs from around San Juan County visited last summer and have already arranged trips for this summer. Overall, we had an additional 1,000 more visitors than last year. We've had visitors from all around the world. Last summer, a biker group from Prague traveled from Las Vegas through the Southwest and spent an entire day at the museum. We had 16 visitors from England, 10 from Canada, 9 from France, 4 from Italy, 3 from China, a couple from New Zealand, and another couple from South Africa.
This past year, we've also been working on upgrades to the museum and the Pioneer Village. We were able to repair the smaller bathroom in the museum building. The floor had been rotting and the window had a lot of damage from weather. So it was funded from Carolyn Bowra, and we were able to install new flooring, protect the window, and also we were able to put in a new baby changing station into the larger bathroom to make us even more family friendly. We've also been working on putting more things on display so that we have more stuff out of storage. We pulled out a bunch of magazines of popular mechanics and popular photography and stored them in this filing cabinet that was on display but completely empty. So now guests are welcome to flip through the magazines, and they go back from as far as 1920s upwards, so it's pretty fun to look through. Cool. We've also been working on adding lighting to the dim cabinets and other rooms in the museum where there's no outlets, and it's been hard to add lighting to. So thanks to Jim McCall, our handyman, we've been putting new lighting into 3 of the rooms within the museum. All of these lights are on timers or motion sensors to conserve energy, and they've been installed with little budget, which is awesome. This summer, we also had a part-time summer employee who redid our clothing room for us. She did a ton of research into the fashion of 1900s Aztec and looked through 1800s Aztec. She looked through all of the clothing and hats and other textiles that we had in the basement and put an amazing new display together with a lot of interpretation that really strikes back to the families that donated these things, telling us why we should care as people from Aztec and the history of Aztec itself. One of our coolest new acquisitions for the museum is the original back bar for the Citizens Bank. It was donated by the grandson of George Bowra, and he brought it all the way from Arizona. It is the original back bar. There used to be a mirror there instead of the shelves, but as mirrors do, it broke, and they built shelves instead. But everything else, all of the other accents are originals.
And look, this picture does not do it justice. If you look at the artifact itself, it's just amazing, the intricate detail on the light fixture and the panels. It's just an amazing piece.
I would recommend everyone coming down and seeing it. We worked on chinking the Hamlet cabin. This started during the Adler Smith Eagle Scout project that was done last summer at the museum and finished by Jim McCall, our handyman. The Adler Smith Eagle Scout project also worked on cleaning up the Pioneer Village. It resulted in 2 full trailers of debris being hauled out of the Pioneer Village. And they were able to do a ton of weeding that would have lasted us months with just the 2 people that we have at the grounds. And with new lighting, we're working on lightening up the Pioneer Village as well. So Jim McCall and Larry Holland, both of our outside guys, have been lightening up the darker buildings. They added this window to the blacksmith, which has added a ton of light and makes it a lot easier to see the artifacts. More inviting, thank you. And we are also working on lightening up the post office.
Cool. Oops. We are fortunate to have the most handy of handymen associated with the museum. Jim McCaw is on our staff, and he's our friend, and he's been with us for several years. Larry Holland started with the Aztec Museum as just a volunteer. I say just a volunteer. Now we're proud to say that he's on the board. These two gentlemen are rock stars when it comes to working on a tight budget. They can find something to fix nearly anything in their reclaimed materials stash, otherwise known maybe as a junk pile, but I call it the reclaimed materials stash. They reuse a lot of material and can always find a way to repair most things without having to purchase any new material. Jim and Larry are committed to the upkeep of the main museum building, Pioneer Village, and the grounds. Larry has completely organized our storage area in the basement of the Historical Society and has built shelvings to put our artifacts on, the ones that are in storage, so that if it does happen to flood again, they won't get damaged. Our volunteers this year contributed over 500 hours of volunteer time this past year. They helped with clothing curation, cleaning in Pioneer Village, building maintenance, storage organizations, groundskeeping, and they gave demonstrations to our children's groups. Park rangers from the Aztec Runs helped us identify pottery in our collection. Carolyn Bowra and her clothing experts went through the clothing collection. Carolyn and her group gave us valuable information on the garments in our collection, the time period that the garments came from, and information about the creation of those garments.
This past year, we've also been working on a lot of community outreach. We had a book lecture come in with David Holtzby, who wrote the book Lest We Forget, World War I and New Mexico. He spoke to a crowded room of over 20 people about his new book and specifically highlighted the contributions of San Juan Valley soldiers that he had discovered as he did research for the book. We also did a summer camp this year. It was a week-long day camp in collaboration with the San Juan Water Conservation and the National Park Rangers. We were able to do an amazing days camp where kids got to learn about native plants, watershed, art, fiber arts, pioneer life, and more every day. They got to take something that they created home with them, along with all the memories and knowledge that they learned. In the autumn, we did a autumn festival with Park Avenue. We had 4 8th grade classes, 8 4th grade classes come in. And they got to learn about Native American games, what a pioneer school day would have looked like, quilting, corn husk dolls. They did a scavenger hunt throughout the Pioneer Village, and it was a wonderful time. Everyone had a lot of fun. This year, we also did Safe Treats, which was very successful for us. We even got a few families come back after getting a little teaser taste as they got their candy, and they came back with their kids to see what it was all about. And yet again, we let the Aztec High School Key Club use the Pioneer Village for their Haunted Village. And we also participated in Aztec Sparkles, where we gave out cookies and hot chocolate and had a great time.
The Aztec Museum in Pioneer Village is also available for rentals. You can have a wedding at the church, which my daughter is going to do on Saturday. So she's getting married in the church on the village. We've had vow renewals in the church. Graduation photos have been taken. We've hosted painters that painted the village. And we also hosted this past year, sadly, 2 memorials. The Aztec Museum Association lost 2 valuable board members last year. They were not only our board members, but they were our friends. Dale Houston was the voice of the museum. His voice carries on in the Pecos West Cyclorama exhibit. He provides an oral interpretation, an oral interpretation of the exhibit. Dale Houston was always available and eager to help with guided tours for our visitors. He was well-read and could always recommend a good book. He also went through our book collection at the museum and helped us figure out what we had in our collection. Dale Anderson was the figurehead of the museum for as long as I've been on the board. He checked with our staff almost daily and was always available to run down to the museum if something needed to be handled. He orchestrated many events at the museum, and a lot of things that happened were due to him. Dale was instrumental in the museum's acquisition of the Model TT. I think this was Dale's pride and joy. He had so much fun and took such pride in acquiring the Model TT, building the garage to store it in, and finding and creating interpretive material for the exhibit. Dale had a way of getting things done. He would always say, I just did a Dale. It was kind of funny. Both of these men are greatly missed. Whoops, sorry. There we go. I don't know how to stop this from going, but okay. So at the Aztec Museum, Aztec Runs and the City of Aztec was featured in a Hometowns and Heroes segment. And I was going to play just a little bit for you. I didn't think we could hear it very well, but.
Hometowns and Heroes. And today, we're at Skyline Regional Park here in Buckeye, Arizona, one of the fastest growing communities in the West. And this is the perfect place to introduce to you some of the hometown heroes that have been featured on DirecTV, giving more of themselves, making this a better country. And to start off the show, let's meet Rebecca Blackwell.
Welcome to Hometowns and Heroes. We're in Aztec, New Mexico.
I just thought it was really neat that Aztec, and if you haven't seen that segment, it's fabulous, by the way. You'll notice, you'll see some familiar faces in the Hometown and Heroes segment. We also are still getting reviews on TripAdvisor and getting great interaction on Facebook. Looking forward, we're going to be busy this year. I'm so proud of what we have in the Aztec Museum in Pioneer Village. I'm pleased that we have such great collaboration and cooperation with the City of Aztec, our area schools, the Aztec Runs, the Area Boys and Girls Club, and many others. We have come so far, but there's so much to do. This year in Pioneer Village, we will focus on putting up new siding and painting the Citizens Bank building and the Kugler Schoolhouse. We're going to weatherproof the tool shed, extend the awning in the Atwood Annex so the snowfall doesn't come off of the roof and onto the sidewalk because that causes a slip hazard. We're going to refurbish our boardwalks and add solar lighting in some of our exhibits, such as the post office. In the main building, we're going to enhance existing exhibits, add more interpretive information, and develop a space for rotating exhibits. We're pursuing installing new signs in Aztec and San Juan County so that we have more exposure through traffic. We've already had one meeting with Mr. Saavedra with the City of Aztec. We're currently entertaining a proposal to host the Steamers and Dreamers Steampunk Festival this fall. If an agreement is reached, the main events during that festival will be held on the museum grounds. We look forward to continuing our relationship with the Aztec Ruins. We plan to further develop our kids' summer program. It was very successful last year. We're trying to extend our advertising reach. We have visited with Willann at the Aztec Visitor Center and have expressed to her that we would like to purchase some of the postcards that she had created. The photos actually on the postcards came from our collection, and so we're going to work with her to purchase some of the postcards to sell at the museum. So we're going to be busy, and we really look forward to this coming year. And just want to thank the City of Aztec for their support through the past years, and in not only funding, but also groundskeeping and building maintenance and things like that. We really, really appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you very much. So does anybody have any questions?
Sounds like fun things coming.
I don't have any questions, but
So-
thank you. I really appreciate you coming to do the presentation.
Thank you. On behalf of Natalie and the board, I just wanted to tell you guys thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, and our last presentation of the evening is San Juan County Gold Star Monument. Gary Smouse, did I say that right? Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you guys for having us here this evening. I'm presenting tonight with Martin Cadell, and we're proud to represent Gold Star Families Memorial Monument of San Juan County. I'm going to take a few moments just to kind of introduce what this is, and I do have a handout I'll give to the Commission afterwards as well, and to the audience as well, to anybody in the city that would like to have a copy of that. First off, I just want to talk about our project in conjunction with the Herschel Woody Williams Memorial Medal of Honor Foundation and the Blue Star Mothers of San Juan County, we will be adding a monument to the existing All Veterans Memorial Plaza at Berg Park in Farmington. The monument will recognize and honor Gold Star families and their fallen heroes throughout our county, so that includes Aztec, Bloomfield, Shiprock, Kirtland, and Farmington. Additional benefits of this project is to educate and bring awareness to our community about Woody and his foundation, Gold Star families and the sacrifices they have endured. This being the day following Memorial Day, we found that as we've been talking with folks in our community about a Gold Star family, there's many out there that don't know what a Gold Star family is or what a Blue Star family is. And so Gold Star families are families that have lost a loved one in action, killed in action in the service to our country. We have quite a few in San Juan County, and so this is our opportunity to bring a monument to our county that would actually pay honor and respect to those soldiers that have given their life, and to the families that live what I consider their living sacrifice that they give every single day. Really quickly, our committee, Martin and I are the co-chairs. We have quite a few very talented folks who we've aligned ourselves with. We do have a Rear Admiral, Mr. Black, who's our military liaison on our board as well, and quite a few great folks as well. The two folks, there's two families on the bottom represented by a star, Jerry Sue and Clayton Roberts. They are a Gold Star family. They're honorary members on our committee. And then Jeanette and her husband is C.Y. Yazzie, and they are a Gold Star family as well. Martin and I have given this presentation over a dozen times throughout the county, and one of the things that we made a vow to each other is that we would not present this without talking about the real reason why we're here. And so I'm going to have Martin come up to the podium and talk a little bit about our Gold Star families.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. You can't really talk about a Gold Star monument without at least taking a few minutes to get to know some of the names. I'm one of those sports guys, so I can name you, especially this week, since Bart Starr lost his life this week, I can name almost every MVP of every Super Bowl. I also kind of have a passion for golf, so I can name every Masters champion in order. I'm ashamed of myself because I don't know every name in San Juan County that's a Gold Star family. We live in some peculiar times that obviously the music industry, the movie industry, the sports industries all take an enormous amount of our time and our passions. But I think it's worth our while just to spend a minute or two just to talk about a few of these young men. Army Staff Sergeant Kevin C. Roberts died May 7, 2008, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. Roberts, 25, was one of the two Fort Campbell soldiers killed by a roadside bomb on Wednesday, May the 7th in Afghanistan. Born in Farmington, Roberts graduated from Farmington High School in 2000. He entered the Army in November 2001. He arrived at Fort Campbell in 2002. Roberts left his volunteer post with the San Juan County Fire Department to enlist following the September 11th terrorist attacks. He is survived by his wife. He also has a son, a daughter, and his parents live here in the San Juan County. His parents are on our committee as honorary members. I'd like to tell a little quick story about each one of them. Staff Sergeant Roberts was deployed twice to Iraq, came home safe and sound. His third deployment was in Afghanistan, by which he was there about 3 weeks before he was killed in action. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to move it forward. Army First Sergeant Class James Jim Thode died December 2nd, 2010, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. Jim was assigned to the 101st, I'm sorry, the 1457th Engineering Battalion, 204th Maneuvering Enhancement Brigade. James was killed by a roadside bomb on December 2nd, 2010, while on active duty in Afghanistan. Born in Shiloh, Arizona, September 27, 1965, Jim Thode was 45. Jim was a patrol sergeant with the Farmington Police Department, where he served for 14 years. He was awarded Superior Supervisor of the Year in 2009. Jim is survived by his wife. He has a daughter and his son, Thomas. His wife, Carlotta, says that his 17-year-old son, who will be a senior this coming year, looks exactly like his dad. Army Specialist Clifton J. Yazzie. Mr. Yazzie died January 20, 2006, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Army Sergeant Clifton Yazzie, 23, was one of 4 soldiers killed January 20th as a roadside bomb exploded near their Humvee. It was Yazzie's second tour in Iraq. Yazzie, 23, of Fruitland, New Mexico, was an infantryman assigned to Company C, 1st Battalion, 327th Infantry. He joined the Army in November 2001 and arrived in Fort Campbell in July 2005. He was promoted posthumously. It's not up there, but I'll go off script here a little bit. I tend to do that. Mr. Yazzie was a member of the 101st Airborne, the Big Red One. If you don't know anything about the Big Red One, please go look it up. That's your assignment. Mr. Yazzie is survived by his wife, his daughter, son, his father and mother, and they live in Fruitland. Quick story about Mr. Yazzie. His mom says that she found out that he was going to be joining the Army because with a few weeks left in high school, the phone rang one day and it was the recruiter. Not a good way to find out that your son is joining the Army. It wasn't a good day for Clifton because Mom climbed his tree, she says, and yelled some things that I guess the recruiter didn't really necessarily want to hear. But she says, you know what? He played with Army men since the time he could walk. I always knew that this was something he wanted to do, and so she got used to the idea after he said, that's what I really want to do with my life. So he spent his first 4 years. He did have one deployment in his first enlistment, and he came home, and 6 months later he told his parents he was going to go back and rejoin. So on his second tour in Iraq is when he lost his life for us. One of the most moving stories is listen to Mrs. Yazzie tell that the first time he went to Iraq, he didn't really think much of it. Just thought it was going to be another day in paradise, right? And so he didn't fill out all the paperwork properly. He didn't go all, check the boxes and dot the I's and cross the T's. Second enlistment, second deployment, he called his mom and he asked his mom, hey Mom, how do I fill this out? Not that he didn't know how to fill it out. He was just wanting to know the pertinent information about his family so it was correct because she thinks that he knew he wasn't going to come home. To date, we have discovered that there are at least 8 from San Juan County since 2001. So that means there's 8 new Gold Star families since 2001. We think that there may be as many as 12. Some of it is a little iffy because when you get to were they born here? Did they go to school here? Did they work here? Did they move away after high school? And so, but it will be our pledge that we're going to be able to have every name that was either born in San Juan County, graduated from a high school in San Juan County, or lived in San Juan County with their family or by themselves when they were deployed. So I appreciate you listening to my side of this presentation. And again, after this weekend, obviously, and all the thoughts and the prayers and all the things. And Chief, thank you for the prayer this afternoon about freedom's not free. And unfortunately, I wish the whole world could get along, but that hasn't been happening since Cain killed Abel.
Another little side note on this picture, Mrs. Yazzie didn't like the first one that Martin and I had up, and she said, "My son is always smiling." And then to her, this was the picture that was more fitting for our presentation. So we replaced it with this one. She wears that on her earrings from time to time as well. She had them on this weekend. So it was a great smile from Mr. Yazzie, and that's how her mom likes to remember him as well. I want to introduce you to another soldier. This is Herschel Woody Williams. He is the last living Medal of Honor recipient from the Battle of Iwo Jima. He is the last living recipient of the Medal of Honor from the entire Pacific Theater in World War II. He was awarded that on Iwo for his bravery above and beyond the call of duty, and was presented his medal by President Harry S. Truman on October 5th, 1945. Woody retired from the U.S. Marine Corps as the Chief Warrant Officer 4, continued to serve our country in the United States Department of Veterans Affairs for over 33 years after his retirement from military service. He was responsible for knocking on doors to moms and dads to deliver the news that their sons or daughters were not coming home. So it was kind of fitting that Woody, when he finally decided that he was going to retire from the Veterans Affairs, that he started this foundation about 8 years ago. His first monument was in Virginia, his home state, and has since made it his life goal to have one of these monuments in every state in our country. There are currently 41. There's 41 states, represented, over 70 monuments in different states. New Mexico will be number 42, and San Juan County has the distinct pleasure of being the first county in the state of New Mexico to have one of Mr. Williams' monuments. Another picture of Mr. Woody receiving that medal. Has a little bit more hair in this picture. Looks maybe a little bit more serious in this picture as well. Here he is standing beside the monument. You'll get another shot of this monument as well. We include this shot in the picture as well. But the front side of this monument is a testament to the Gold Star families and their relatives, those who are giving the living sacrifice for their family members who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to our country. This monument is eight pieces, total of 4 panels and 4 pieces. It's black granite from Peru, and these panels, the backside of these panels, are tailored to fit our specific community. So we gave this distinct pleasure to our Gold Star families and our Blue Star moms as well. We had an opportunity to meet with them about 3 weeks ago to depict what pictures they wanted to have represented on these. The Homeland picture, or Homeland panel, will have a couple of different images on there. One will be an image of a code talker holding his service hat that says Navajo Code Talker. It's an image that was taken by a gentleman named, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but I forgot his name. But the soldier's name, or the code talker's name, is Thomas H. Begay. Thomas is one of 6 remaining code talkers that we have alive today. We lost Mr. Pinto last week and Mr. Samuel Begay a couple of weeks prior to that. So when we started this project, there was 8 code talkers. We now have 6. And Mr. Begay has agreed to join us on our scheduled events in the county on June 26th and June 27th. And we've also had the release of the image to be used on the backside of this panel as well. The other 3 panels, one consists of family, patriot, and sacrifice. And I think our Gold Star families and moms and dads took it very serious. The idea of picking the images that would be displayed on our monument in San Juan County, knowing that this monument would be standing for decades and centuries to come. Another great image of this where you get the full shot. There is a cutout image of a saluting soldier, fitting for what I think all Gold Star families probably carry with them, is a hole in their heart that will probably never be filled. And that's the idea behind this monument, is that it's a testament to them and their living sacrifice. The height of the monument at its peak is 89 inches or just over 7 feet. The length is 159 or just over 13 and weighs about 15,000 pounds. The city of Farmington has graciously approved this location in the All Veterans Park. If you have not been there, this is a terrible picture of it because it's in the middle of the winter. But if you were there this weekend, it's a quite different scene. It's a beautiful park. It's so well done, and we're really honored that this piece of land is where that monument is going to be. It's a great location, and we're super excited to have the city supporting us with this and the entire county supporting us with this as well. Very quickly, I'll go through a couple of other things. Schedule of events. Mr. Woody will be in San Juan County, June 26th and June 27th. There will be a welcome escort by first responders. We're in touch with the state police. We've been in touch with Mr. Ferrari with San Juan County, as well as with Bloomfield and Farmington. That's why we're here today, is Aztec is the one remaining jurisdiction we have not talked to. But our welcome escort for Mr. Woody starts in Albuquerque. We'll be joined by this San Juan County Sheriff's Office at County Line, and we'll be picked up by the Bloomfield Police Department, Fire Departments, first responders as we enter the city of Bloomfield. Our route comes through Aztec. We're hoping to get the city of Aztec support with this as well, and also the public. This is a Wednesday. It's at 12 o'clock. We're hoping that his arrival arrives in Aztec somewhere around 12:15 to 12:20. But we'd like to see the city of Aztec come out and support him and show their support for Woody and for this monument and Gold Star families by just being present, waving a flag, having a banner, but really showcasing their love of our country and our community and of those Gold Star families. That same evening is a stand and honor banquet at the Farmington Civic Center. This is a private fundraising event. We're also asking the city to come in and join us on this to help fund the monument. The monument will cost around $55,000. We're trying to raise somewhere in excess of $100. Would be nice. But our sponsorships start at $1,500. I do have a packet I'll leave with the council today as well. We also have a silent and live auction that will be happening that night as well. We're really excited about this as our key fundraising effort to fund the monument is that Wednesday, June 26th at 6:30. The next day is a groundbreaking ceremony at 2 p.m. at that All Veterans Park. This is a VIP event with dignitaries and media, open to the public as well. We will obviously extend an invitation to the city of Aztec to be there to help us support this as well. That same evening is what we're referring to as an evening with Herschel Woody Williams on stage at the Civic Center Theater. These are open to the public. Tickets will be sold. We currently have those on sale at the Civic Center box office for $12. This is an event you don't want to miss, and we really want this to be a family-friendly event for families to come and hopefully to help educate our younger generations on the sacrifice of our soldiers and Woody to get an opportunity to tell his story. One of the highlights of that night as well is Mr. Thomas Begay will be on stage with Woody at some point as a special guest. We're hoping to get an opportunity to hear his story a little bit as well. But as Martin likes to say, Mr. Begay has already agreed to sing the Marine Corps hymn in Navajo that evening to close out our ceremony. Chevelle Shepherd will open the evening for us as well, so a couple of names you guys may remember or may know, but we're really excited about this. I think this is going to be an event that you do not want to miss, something really special. Just a quick little side note, Mr. Begay's service was on Iwo as well, so he was on the island at the same time Woody was on the island. These two gentlemen have not met, but is Mr. Begay's kind of one of his dreams is to meet Mr. Williams, and those two will have an opportunity to do that, and we're glad that it's going to happen right here in our county. They both got to see the flag raised on Mount Suribachi as well, so very, very cool. There's not a whole lot of people who walk on the earth right now that can say that, so we're going to have two of those guys together on June 27th that evening. Some additional considerations of our committee is parking lot and trail beautifications of that area. We're working with an Eagle Scout on this project, Mr. Aaron, let's call him Aaron. I don't know why the names are escaping me. I apologize about that. Also, entrance markers off of San Juan Boulevard to Tucker, and then ongoing support for Gold Star and Blue Star families as well. We have all sorts of different ideas in terms of what that looks like, possible scholarship opportunities for Gold Star families. Funding was recently cut for Gold Star families from our United States Congress, and we're hoping that maybe we can do something right here in San Juan County to fill a gap there. We are on Facebook, so you can follow us at SJC Gold Star Monument. I'd encourage everyone in attendance to do that today. We really need to get the word out. We're a little over a month away from these events. We also have a website. That information is all in the brochure, so if you get a brochure, you're going to have that information as well, and sponsorship opportunities with Mrs. Ritter, who is our events coordinator for all of the fundraising and sponsorships for the night on the 26th. One other note that I would just say is, in addition to the events that we've got planned and the outpouring of support from the community so far, we are also, pass that to the council. Yeah, here, I'm just going to give it to you. We are also selling one of Woody's challenge coins. These are a coin that depicts the monument on the backside, and then his medals and his association military service on the other side. And I'd like to take this opportunity to present this to our cadet here tonight, if she's still with us. Is she still here?
Nope, she left.
Well, Mr. Snover, if you wouldn't mind giving this to her. This is one of Woody's
I will
coins.
see her tomorrow.
We are selling these for $25, but we'd like to give this to her and thank her for her service.
It'll be my honor, thank you.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. So that does conclude my presentation. If there's any questions for the mayor or the council, I'll be happy to take those at this time.
I don't have any
Any
questions.
questions?
anybody?
It sounds impressive. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Thank you so
Smiles.
much for your time. I appreciate that.
Mr. Goodell, I appreciate it.
Beyond the wall?
The names will not be on the actual monument themselves, but they will. We do have indication markers or indicator markers that will be going around the monument. So we'll date those names back as early as I think World War I in our county. So we do have plans to do that as well. So I don't think most of the monuments that are in existence do not have names associated with them. But that was something that we felt pretty strong about, that we wanted those names there for the family members to know that, hey, this is a place that they can come and they can see their sons, their daughters' names in granite at a place that's very fitting for what it really is a memorial. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What about a later date, putting like a bronze plaque in front with the names on it?
So, yes, so we'll be installing granite that has names of all of our Gold Star families, Gold Star service members, dating all the way back to, I think, World War I in our county. So yes, that is happening.
There's going to be multiple, smaller, they'll look like more like a headstone type thing, but probably on an angle, so you can walk up, see the monument, and read the names for each complex.
I'm in this right now, we've got a Civil War veteran up here in the cemetery, doesn't have a history. I'm in this to get that taken care of. I haven't heard anything back from the VA.
All right, thanks again, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Our next item is citizens' input. I didn't see anybody earlier, so nobody signed up for citizens' input this evening. And our next is business item A, approval of preliminary fiscal year 2020 budget.
Mr. Mayor, that just goes back to what we discussed earlier.
Right.
To previous workshops, and the budget can be approved now as is, subject to change down the road.
Once we get the final,
fit,
the
correct.
final budget ready for submission, but for tonight's purposes, we can go ahead and approve the preliminary budget for 2020.
Correct.
Accurate statement? Yes. Okay, make sure. Okay, So with that said, we've already had a couple of workshops. I will open it up for discussion and/or any questions of Ms. Lamb and the city manager. I don't know that we have any, but
I don't.
just to open it up briefly. And hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion for the business item A.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the submittal of the fiscal year 2020 preliminary operating budget to New Mexico Department of Finance and Local Government Division.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Snover,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Friday,
Aye.
Commissioner Sykes,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. And we are now moving on to Commissioner, City Manager, and Department reports. I promised our city attorney that she would be able to go first for her report. She's very excited.
It's my first report, guys.
It's your first one, so thank you, Ms. Hunsaker. Please.
I am really excited to say that I got to participate in the Riverfest raft race for the city of Aztec. There was the mayor and Steven Saavedra and Andrew, I can't remember his last name.
DiCamillo.
Okay. Andrew DiCamillo and myself. And we got in this boat in really cold water, and we paddled as fast as we could, and I might have been the typical attorney, like telling them what to do. And we went as fast as we could until we ran into the county's raft, and we were passing them, and then they would get ahead and we would, okay, and then they T-boned us and slowed us down. All that to say, we came in second by 40 seconds, you guys.
Yay!
So next year.
So we'll blame the county on that one.
Yes. So next year, I want to see the river full of rafts. There were only 7 teams this year. And I'm hoping that we can have several from the city of Aztec and form like a Viking crew. And that way we can just take out the other boats if they try and T-bone us. So anyway, thank you for letting me do that. And I had so
Very
much fun. And yay for outdoor recreation on the river. We need more of that.
It's pretty good. Okay, I guess we'll just kind of go down the line. Commissioner or I'm sorry,
That's fine.
Mr. Mueller.
I just want to give a shout out to the Visitor Center, Will Ann Thomas. Great review came in from a recent visitor over there, said the fabulous place to visit, very friendly staff. So just kudos to them. Got a New Mexico Municipal League meeting coming up. It's a policy board meeting in June that I'll be attending. And that's about all I have at this point.
All right, thanks, sir. Commissioner Lewis.
Well, we have a commission, Salmon Water Commission meets next week. So I will be attending that, of course. I'm doing everything I can to attend the county commission meeting, which is Tuesday next, as I recall. So I'll be doing that. One thing I did want to point out is what a great job the crews are doing on the parks. Right now, they look really nice. I want to just congratulate all the people out there doing all that. And how many kids are already using the splash park over here? What do we, splash?
Splash Park.
Splash park, okay. That, it's 14 degrees outside and we have kids playing in water.
The kids don't
So-
care. The kids don't care.
Kids don't care, but I think it's great. I love to see the activity, and I love to see all the great things happening in town. I just wanted to compliment the parks folks on that.
Commissioner Sipe.
Just a couple things. I've got a couple of shout outs for some of our employees. I'd like to thank Andrew Galloway and Anthony Garcia and Steve Morris and Steve Mueller. Up in Cocopelli, week before last, we had an issue with some high water pressure. And they were very helpful in coming up and figuring out what, we had a leak in a valve at the main, whatever, up there. He can tell you what it was, but anyway, they were very good at coming in and, because it was, the pop-off valve on my hot water heater was, I was just pouring water out the side, so anyway, and there was a couple others that were having the same issue, so, but thank you to you guys for getting on it so quick, I appreciate that. And I just want to thank Andrew DiCamillo and Mr. Saavedra for, I don't know if you guys have gone by the Embarcadero Apartments, but due to our passing the international code compliance thing that we passed a few months ago, they have been able to get onto those, onto the owners of those apartments and have, are really doing some work, and I think it's gonna look really nice when they get done. So thank you guys for getting on that, and, because it was a real eyesore for our community, especially as many people we have going down to the ballparks and stuff right now this time of year. So thank you so much for getting on that. Just want to say thank you to Kathy and all of our department heads, city manager, for the work on the budget. I know it's not been easy for any of you guys this year, but we really appreciate it. I did attend the EDAB meeting on Thursday, and we had a lot of good discussion about the downtown businesses and their little association and things that they want to see come forward with the city. I did not attend the MPO meeting that afternoon. I was not able to attend that, but we'll have another one next month. So anyway, that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem?
I attended the FORCED, the Four Corners Economic Development Regional Group, and they now have a new CEO, Arvin Trujillo, and he gave an excellent presentation on future plans, and I've encouraged our commission and the EDAB to invite him for a presentation to see where Aztec can fit into the economic development plans of the region. I also attended the last EDAB meeting, and as was mentioned, we've got an enthusiastic group on Main Street wanting to revitalize the old UFO symposium and festival. So they're working hard on it, and kind of feels like they're going to be able to bring that to fruition sometime in August. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick things. I want to echo the raft race stuff. I think the county kind of cheated us out of victory. So Commissioner Fortner, if you're watching, you owe me and my team some sort of compensation or something. I'm thinking pizza and an adult beverage at the pizzeria down the street from here after the next commission meeting. But I had a really fun time, and yeah, I think that event could become one of the centerpieces of Riverfest if it was cultivated, and maybe this was the first time, you know, and for a first time event, it went off really well. The folks from the Riverfest were wonderful. Marcel from River Alliance, I hope I got that organization right, worked very hard on, you know, on, like most nonprofits, shoestring budget kind of stuff, lots of blood, sweat, and tears that are not compensated for, but because of his love for rivers and open spaces, he put this together, and, you know, we had a great time, and way more. I knew it was going to be fun, but it was way more fun than I ever imagined we were going to have. Next year, we're going for gold, and hopefully there'll be some other folks out there that'll participate with us. But I had a really fun time, and it's just, you know, the spirit of competition is really cool. So obviously, I think we're all officially done with graduations. You know, after Aztec finished up on Friday, the area high schools have spilled their hard-charging young graduates out into the world, you know, for the next phase of their lives. So just kind of keep your eye out, because some of them, there's graduation parties going on. There's folks that are getting ready to go to college, going to basic training, all that kind of stuff, and they still think they're bulletproof and you know, 50 feet tall kind of thing, right? So just pay a little bit of attention as you're out and about, because some of them are going to be a little full of themselves still with their new diplomas under their arms. So just be aware of that. And I know there's a lot of summer projects kicking off. We kicked our YCC project off today at Aztec Ruins, and I know the city's going to be kicking theirs off. And there's just a lot of activity that maybe we're not quite used to seeing. So just kind of keep your head on a swivel over the next few weeks as we move through the summer, and hopefully this mild weather will hang on a little bit longer. But I really appreciate everybody's attendance tonight, all the presentations. I learned a lot, and yeah, that's really all I have. So I would like to go ahead and
Mr. Mayor, One
Yes,
quick
sir.
thing I forgot.
Yes, sir.
Was I did attend the Aztec Ruins full moon presentation a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it was really something worth going to. It was a lot of fun. It was great, nice turnout. Quite a few people there. It's very family friendly. They have a great program for not only younger kids, but old kids like me. And it was really something I really enjoyed, and I encourage everyone to take part in them when they have them. And I think they're going to have several during the next several
Yeah,
months.
I think throughout the summer, they're going to have one each full moon.
Yep.
So, there you go. Thank you.
So, yeah, all right. That's all I have. Thank you. Move to adjourn. Thanks. Oh, I am so sorry. Man, I thought we were out of here. So, and we have all our department heads here too, so just about. So let's move on to department reports. Please accept my apology. Somebody has to do one now. After. Come on, Chief. Come on, Chief. You're always good for a report. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Smouse?
Not really. Thanks, Chief.